Hey friends, so this is a full installation video of this adorable playhouse. This is like a real house made of cedar wood, and I'm doing this full installation so that you can see how to put it together. The instructions are very clear, but they also have a few parts that are a little bit confusing, not necessarily because of the way they're written, but just because there's a lot of parts. So I highly recommend looking over this just to kind of give you an edge over when you're about to review this. Number one thing that you want to make sure you have is an electric screwdriver. That is going to make life so much easier. There are so many screws for this. There are so many little pieces to put together, and it's very tedious, time consuming, and takes a lot of time. In fact, you can see we started this during the day, sun was out, we were hard at work. This was late in the afternoon, and it took quite a while. You'll see at the end of the video, it took the better part of several hours, and it actually was dark. So the second thing you need to know is, you can see he's climbing in there. There is a lot of getting up and down and climbing through this little door. That's one of the last things you put on, because you will need to get up and down and crouch in this small little spot. There's definitely room for you to sit in there. There's definitely room to maneuver and to screw everything in, but it definitely does require a lot of getting up and down, bending over, and having to screw things in and get them sorted out. So definitely follow the instructions. Keep that in mind. Definitely go through it all. All right, now I am going to go over a couple things that were just a little bit tricky when we were putting it together, and give you some of my pointers when I was putting it together. So like I said, we did follow all the instructions, and we did do it in the order suggested. And it did make it pretty simple, and we were able to find all the pieces. Everything is individually labeled, and my kids loved helping. You can see they're in this video the whole time. They absolutely loved putting it together. My little girl here absolutely loves taking things apart and putting them back together and seeing how everything works. This is definitely something that you can put together with your kids, and they can get a lot of satisfaction after putting it together. So these are, the structures for the roof. And then you move inside, and there's lots of windows. There's actually, I think, 8 windows. There are some chalkboard faces with clocks on them. So all these little pieces, they go in, and you want to do those in the right order. Because once you've got the roof on, once you've got, different pieces on it, it makes it harder to move around. This oven, there is an extra piece. You don't want to miss that piece. It kind of looks at first like it might not fit if you do have that extra piece in, but I assure you it will. And then the stove comes next. The spot right here that he's doing right now is where the sink goes in. Now, you want to make sure and pay attention. Now, a different installation video talked about how it was difficult because they had to crawl underneath to get that sink in, because there's these little clips on it that secure it in so it doesn't wobble around. What my husband ended up doing, you can see right here, is screwing them in specifically to the sink. And then once he got it on, it actually snapped right into place. You do not have to bend down. You do not have to try and maneuver your body that way if you end up doing it the way that we did. So that is just one of probably the biggest tips and tricks that I can give. So this is the dormer window. You want to put the roof on first. Pretty simple. You just get it on the right side, and then you snap it into place with the extra pieces. Just lots of screws. That I can just stress that a lot. Lots of screws. But the nice thing about it is they do include a few extra screws. And so if you end up dropping one or losing one, you can do that. This is the dormer window. Absolutely adorable. The chimney goes on next. It goes behind it. You do, like I said, you got to get up and down. You've got to screw it on the front and also on the inside. But this is constructed just like a real house. It's so cute. All those hanging pots and pans. The door that opens and closes, you can see they just loved going in and out. It was so much fun. A working doorbell, planter boxes. We are definitely going to get some flowers in that. It's going to be absolutely adorable. And this thing is just so phenomenally cute. And if you have a doggy, your doggy can come outside and play with you also.